And Simon, you had an exclusive conversation with Nathi Mthethwa's wife and his brother.
Yes, indeed, Michelle. I just got off the phone with both of them. I think this was the first time that Philisiwe Buthelezi Mthethwa, the ambassador's widow, has spoken to a reporter. She got on the phone to say that she had finally had a good night's sleep last night. It was the first time in 72 hours that she had been able to accomplish that. She wanted to convey thanks to everyone in South Africa that has expressed condolences and sent messages of sympathy to her and to other members of the family. And she said that she is very comforted by the fact that her brother, Dr. Sifiso Buthelezi, former Deputy Minister of Finance, of course, is now here in Paris with her at the ambassador's official residence. The two of them today will be spending time officially receiving Ambassador Mthethwa's death certificate. They are continuing their conversations with the authorities here, waiting for the remains of Ambassador Mthethwa to be released from a government mortuary where those remains are currently being held while an autopsy is conducted and post-mortem arrangements are finalized. They then plan to move the ambassador's remains to a private mortuary here and begin the process of arranging his repatriation. They are unable to repatriate the body until they get the final approval for that from the French authorities. They are hoping that that repatriation could take place next Monday or Tuesday, but the details of that are yet to be worked out. Dr. Buthelezi, the ambassador's brother-in-law, described what he said had been a crazy, crazy world into which the family was suddenly dramatically moved on Monday night when Mrs. Mthethwa realized that her husband had gone missing, and he confirmed that she was the person who raised the alarm with French police. Indeed, was conveyed to a police station by French police, where she explained that she was confident that the ambassador was missing, that he had not arrived at the cocktail party to which he was supposed to have departed on Monday afternoon. They then, I'm told, conveyed her back to the ambassador's residence and searched the residence, wondering whether Nathi Mthethwa might actually still be in the residence somewhere. Once they realized that he was not, a full-scale search for the ambassador got underway. So it was definitely Mrs. Mthethwa who absolutely raised the alarm based on text messages that she received in which her husband conveyed apologies to her and indicated an intent to take his own life. They say that they are not contesting what they described as the outcome of a very professional police investigation that is still underway, but that all the signs clearly point to the fact that Ambassador Mthethwa took his own life here at the Paris Regency Hotel, the Hyatt Regency Paris Étoile Hotel, plunging from the 22nd floor. They said that the investigation has absolutely focused, as has been reported here, on how he was able to open the window in his room to a sufficient degree in order then to throw himself to his death. As we know, the windows in this hotel are very narrow. Police say they recovered a pair of scissors at the scene that was used in order to open the window to its full extent. They told me that police had been back at the residence yesterday, providing the family with a further update. They are very busy as a family now, making all the arrangements. They expect to be spending several hours today with French authorities securing that death certificate, and they said that there is obviously a considerable bureaucratic procedure here that they now have to go through, not just as a family in order to arrange the repatriation of the ambassador's remains, but also in consultation and cooperation with DIRCO, which of course is also playing an official role in making sure that the ambassador's remains are returned to South Africa as quickly as possible. The one area that is still slightly unclear is whether the ambassador's cell phone was, as had been reported earlier in the week, discovered in the Bois de Boulogne, that wooded area, big park here in Paris, not far from this hotel, or whether the cell phone was recovered in the hotel. The cell phone has certainly been returned to Mrs. Mthethwa, she told me, and I'm told that it seemed very clean and there was no indication that it had been recovered from a wooded area, but there is a lack of clarity at the moment as to whether Ambassador Mthethwa and his mobile phone were at some point separated, whether he had travelled at some point to the Bois de Boulogne, or whether it was recovered with his belongings here today, and we're hoping to get some further clarity on that a little bit later in the day. But the big revelation from these conversations today is that Mrs. Mthethwa and the family are not at all contesting the preliminary outcome of the investigation, which points to the conclusion that the ambassador took his own life at some point, either on Monday night or in the early hours of Tuesday morning, and they are very keen to return to South Africa in order to honour the ambassador's memory, and waiting now for the French authorities to give them the approval to remove the remains from that government mortuary and begin the process of repatriating him to South Africa.
Certainly, Simon, and it must be quite a comfort in a way for Mrs. Buthelezi, who maybe our viewers don't know, speaks fluent French, to have that ability to engage with investigators on that kind of, without that kind of language barrier in place.
Yes, absolutely, and that's a very important point, and Dr. Buthelezi, her brother, raised it with me and said that they had been hugely advantaged in all of this by the fact that she is a fluent French speaker, and also by the fact that she herself has spent so much time in Paris. She studied, as you probably know, Michelle, at the Sorbonne when she was younger, so she's very familiar with the city and how to operate under what have clearly been very trying and very tragic circumstances. There's no question also that she has been greatly fatigued by the events of the last 72 hours. She was at pains to point out that she'd finally had a full night's sleep overnight, and said that this morning she was feeling better and beginning to come to terms with the scale of her loss and the family's loss. But certainly the fact that she knows how to navigate the system here, I think has definitely, she would concede, advantaged her, and it means that they are able to communicate in French with Paris police, with the prosecutors, with the judicial police who are involved in making all the arrangements ahead of the repatriation of the body.
Aside from the repatriation, Simon, which you say will likely take place next Monday or Tuesday, are we still awaiting the outcome of an autopsy at this stage?
Well, the autopsy has not quite been completed. So the answer to that is that there's an autopsy and a post-mortem that is underway, and they're hoping to get more news, the family, about both of those today as part of the process of securing the death certificate. I think there's a sequence that's at play here that results in the death certificate being released to the family. And of course, that piece of paper is absolutely critical in terms of then the family being able to make all of the relevant arrangements that have to be made, not just with regard to the repatriation of the body, but of course all the other processes that will result from Ambassador Mthethwa's death. So the autopsy, and this is why the ambassador's remains are still at the government mortuary. The autopsy, of course, has been conducted by the French authorities here as part of the investigation, into his apparent decision to take his own life. We knew that yesterday the French prosecutor disclosed to French media that there was no indication of any narcotics or medications that the ambassador had consumed, and that was really building the police's understanding of the fact that this was an intentional decision to take his own life. And the family was absolutely adamant on the phone with me within the last 45 minutes or so. There is no evidence of foul play. The CCTV has been examined, they told me, here at the hotel. The images that are captured all over this hotel. There are cameras, of course, in the lobby area, but in other parts of the hotel as well. That was examined by Paris police on Tuesday. The family say that the police concluded from that there was no one else involved in the ambassador's death. So the police investigation, while it's not final, is inexorably, I think, now leading to a conclusion that tragically he decided to take his own life. Now, whether they have any more of an understanding of why he decided to do that, had he been depressed in the days leading up to his decision to arrive in this hotel and check him into that room on the 22nd floor, the tallest hotel in Paris? We still do not know, for example, if he'd received any formal notification that he might be called to testify before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Yesterday, a spokesman for the Commission would not answer that question and simply said that at this time, the Commission only wanted to convey condolences to the ambassador's widow. So there are enormous questions that remain unanswered about exactly why Ambassador Mthethwa decided to take his own life, but that certainly appears to be the conclusion that the Paris investigation is about to offer up.
And Simon, it in many cases will mean the families will never have those answers to the why. Simon Marks, our correspondent in Paris, with what is really the first conversation Philisiwe Buthelezi Mthethwa, Nathi Mthethwa's wife, has had with certainly a South African journalist and with her brother Dr. Sifiso Buthelezi. Simon there with the latest.